What's good, Logan? So this is section 5.1, angles of triangles. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how to classify triangles. So there are two ways to classify triangles. The first way is based on sides. So the first way to classify a triangle is going to be based on sides. And our first classification is based on when all the sides of the triangle are congruent. So that would kind of look like this. If all the sides were exactly the same, right? All the sides were congruent. We call that triangle right there an equilateral triangle. Okay, so this is a vocabulary word we need to know. That is an equilateral triangle when all the sides are congruent. Okay, the next one is when at least two sides are congruent. So technically that green guy, that is technically, one of those as well, because at least two of the sides are congruent. But this is talking about these ones as well. So when you have only two sides being congruent like that, that's what we call an isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle. Okay, so we have isosceles triangle where at least two sides are congruent, which includes the equilateral triangle. But then the equilateral triangle is very specific to when you only have three sides that are congruent. And then finally, we have a triangle where none of the sides, no sides are congruent to each other. Something that kind of looks like this. Let's say that that was 3. Let's say that that was 5. And we'll say that this right here was 9. This right here is a scalene triangle. All right, a scalene triangle. So your job is to make sure you know the definitions, all these words right here. These are your vocabulary words. So we have the equilateral triangle, also known as the triangle where all the sides are congruent. Then we have the isosceles triangle, where at least two sides are congruent. And then we have the scalene triangle, where none of the sides are congruent.